What's up, Latino Nation? My name is Tony Delgado, and welcome to Latino Wall Street Live here on the FinTech TV network. And today we have a really special guest. We're here at the New York Stock Exchange, the global mecca of finance, where some of the biggest companies in the world are created and go public. And we're sitting down with a powerhouse Puerto Rican-born Latina who has broken multiple glass ceilings from the courtroom to the Supreme Court, the Honorable Judge Evelyn LaPorte. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, Tony, for inviting me. It is an honor and a pleasure to be here with you.
Yeah. So at Latino Wall Street, we're all about Latino excellence, right? And you have just such an incredible story, how you were born in Puerto Rico, you came here as a young woman. Do you want to tell us a little bit about your backstory and how you came from being born in a small town in Puerto Rico to being a judge at one of the biggest cities and biggest places in the whole world?
Absolutely. I was born and raised in a very small town in Puerto Rico. It wasn't even on the map until recently. It belongs to Juanadías, the city next to Ponce. I grew up and was born in there. And I received all my education from Puerto Rico, most of it, public education. When I was in high school, I used to see my mom. My mom was a domestic woman working and cleaning houses for rich people. Wow. And my father was a sugarcane worker. So my mom used to bring magazines to the house. And I used to see those commercials with the airlines and the stewardess. And I said, I want to be one of those. So after a year and a half from Inter-American University in Puerto Rico, I said, Mom, I want to go to New York and become a flight attendant. And that's how I came here to be. When I was almost on my 20s, I came here just to be a flight attendant and see the world.
And to search for the American dream, right?
And to search for that American dream and not knowing what God had in store for me. It had other plans for me.
Yeah, so how did you go from trying to be a flight attendant to then becoming a judge?
Well, in the
and getting into law?
Yes, in the beginning when I came here with my dream, I interviewed with a number of airlines, but I was rejected, obviously. I wasn't able to speak English because I didn't know the language.
Wow.
So heartbroken, devastated, and disappointed, I decided to go back to college, continue my college education, in the meantime, learn English so I could fulfill my dream of becoming a flight attendant. It was painful, Tony, learning English at that age through college while you are taking your college classes and trying to understand what's going on. It was devastated. Most of the time, I was lost.
And did you have family or friends or support? Who did you even know in New York?
I had, well, most of my family was in Puerto Rico, my mom and dad, and I had a sister here that I came and joined. She received me and I was living with her because obviously I didn't have that much income. So I think.
And why didn't you quit? Why didn't you just say, oh, I'm going to go back to Puerto Rico and just quit?
My father, I said, he was a sugarcane worker, but education was not an option that I should refuse or reject. Education was very important in my family. And don't get me wrong, I come from a family of teachers. And in my neighborhood, most people that got government jobs or those type of jobs, they were either teachers or nurses, because that was the way to get out of the poverty that we were living in. I'm not ashamed of being raised and grew up the way I did. It's just like we were always wishing and hoping for better. And that's exactly what I came in here. I thought being a flight attendant was going to give me a better life. Besides that, I could see the world. My family could not afford to send me different places. And then going to college, learning the English wasn't easy. My family, my sister that I was living with, she only spoke English and she didn't know much about the system, the educational system. So I learned by trial and error. And during my year, it took me about 10 years, Tony, to graduate and to feel a little bit comfortable with the English language. During those 10 years, I was attending college at night, full time, always. And during the day, sometimes I was employed, sometimes I was unemployed, sometimes I was on welfare, on food stamp, sometimes I have, different type of job. But it didn't matter what happened to me, my life during the day, I never quit school because I saw that was my key to my success. I didn't know where I was going. Most of the time, I didn't know what I was doing because I was so engulfed and engaged on trying to learn the English language that I felt isolated at times. I felt stupid at times because the more I practiced, the more I did, I didn't see any progress. At one point, I was put in academic probation. They were going to kick me out of school. And I go, no, that's the end of it. And many doubts. I thought I was never going to be able to learn the language and fulfill my dream. But along the way, things kind of like in your life take turns and you don't know where it's taking you. So while attending college, I took classes. And then I took some classes that I became like law background. And that's when I started becoming interested in the law. And it was fascinating to me to the point I started at Bronx Community College. Then I transferred to Lehman College because I thought I was going to do some type of politics background. And then I ended up, when I became more interested in the law, then I found John Jay College of Criminal Justice that specializes on that. That's where I graduated from. I received my bachelor's degree and my master's degree from John Jay College. And then while I was doing my bachelor's degree, at the end, I decided to do the audacity thing to go to law school. Once again, no money, didn't know where to go, who to ask.
I'm just going to keep going.
Just keep going. Because I said, and I wasn't really sure about myself. My doubts, I wasn't confident at all. I have limited belief. I didn't have anyone. People talk about mentors. Tony, I knew about the word mentor like 10 years ago. So I did it basically by myself. Yes, I have the support of my family, but they could only support me so much.
Yeah, they would just make sure you're not homeless.
Exactly.
But not much more, yeah.
But they couldn't support me with money. They couldn't support me with, telling me where to go, what to do. And at that time, there was no internet. There was no internet.
Yeah.
There was no AI. There was no ChatGPT. There was none of that. And everything has to be done through the newspaper, or if you were at the right time, in the right place, maybe someone will give you some information.
Yeah, ask a stranger.
Exactly.
Ask somebody. Yeah.
Ask, and maybe someone will do something for you. So most of the time, I felt like I was reinventing the wheel. That's what I think it took me so long, because I didn't know much of anything. But I didn't stop. I kept going. And I never said, oh, I want to be a lawyer, I want to do this, I want to do that. I just said, I want to learn the English language so I could compete in the world with a job that I could maintain and help my family. That was my goal.
How important do you think that is to learn English? Like for all the Latino immigrants that they're coming to this country and they want to chase the American dream or grow in business, how important do you think that was for you?
It is important. It is very important, Tony. Learning the English language, and listen, you don't have to learn it perfect. Still today, I don't speak a perfect English, but who cares? I ended up in the Supreme Court. Today, I am CEO of a company called Total Faith Network, and I could compete with anyone. But learn it. Learn enough that will give you that confidence to go forward and do whatever you do, because Latinos, we're very passive and we don't like to cause trouble and we don't like to do things not to embarrass ourselves. I was there. And in the meantime, while I was not wanting it to be embarrassed, I let a lot of opportunities go because I was waiting to be perfect. And you're never gonna be perfect. You just need to learn enough. And learning the English language, you learn every day, all the time. Read, listen to the TV or the radio. Most of my English that I learned in my early years, watching cartoons, the electric company, Sesame Street. I used to walk around with a red pencil. Every time I read something, I would underline it and try to understand it. You have to invest. It's not gonna happen automatically. You gotta work. You gotta put your hours. And I understand most of us come here and we need to work. But you need to take time to invest, even if it's a half hour every day, even if it's an hour every day. It doesn't have to be many hours, but half hour here, 10 minutes here, 10 minutes later, it adds up at the end. And practice it. No matter how you sound. I was very concerned about the way I sound. People used to call me stupid. People used to call me names. And yes, I cried, but I kept on practicing.
Yeah.
It didn't stop me because I wanted it to succeed and be something in here because I belong here. And that was my goal that I wanted it to do.
Yeah.
The language, it will come. One of the time, after so many years, I started speaking English. It was beautiful, but I spent my time trying to learn it. So it doesn't matter. It's important. And then once I learned the language, then I got more confidence, and it took me from one position to the next, one position to the next. My money got better. My friends got better. My positions got better. And I ended up in the Supreme Court. And when I ran for Supreme Court in Brooklyn, New York, which is a huge borough and it's a lot of competition, the first time, let me step back. The first time I ran for judge, which was for civil court judge, I ran against 15 other people. Everybody was Caucasian. I was the only person of color. People said, she has no chance. There was no chance for me. Nobody was paying attention to me. Once I came late to the race, I was broke. I had no money, no funds. I had no support. But the more people told me, you cannot do it, you won't make it, the more convinced and the more committed I was to do it. You know why? Because I saw an opportunity. And I saw an opportunity not only for me, but I saw an opportunity for my community. Because sometimes you just cannot allow people to tell you that you cannot do it. You can't. You just have to look at yourself and know yourself and be able to have enough confidence and believe in yourself to be able to say, I'm gonna do that.
Yeah.
That's an opportunity for me. And whatever I don't learn, whatever I don't know, I will learn. But an opportunity for me, you don't let pass. And that's exactly what I did. I was elected for 10 years, and I had barely no support, including no support of the party. And I ran. I wasn't able to win, and I took the first seat. I had to work very hard. And I had a team that worked very hard with me. But I believe in myself, and I believed that I could do it, and I did it. And then 10 years later, I have to run again because it's an elected position. I ran again, and I got it. I had no opposition, but then there were 4 seats for Supreme Court. I applied for one of those positions, and I got it. That's how I ended up in Supreme Court.
And you didn't take no for an answer. You just
And
kept going.
No.
Yeah.
I kept going. I had to negotiate where I needed to negotiate. I went to the places that I needed to go. I went to the places that I needed to be. Sometimes you just have to do things that are uncomfortable, and you have to get out of the comfort zone. You have to feel that you need to do that. You need to be confident. Listen, confidence is very important in people's life. You are not successful if you're not confident. And our Latinos have so much talent, so much to give, so much to offer, but because we are held back, waiting for the right moment and waiting for the right time and waiting to be ready,
waiting for permission,
or
right?
waiting for permission.
And it's like, no, you have to take it.
Exactly. Sometimes you just have to go, that is for me. You have to claim it and go for it. And let me tell you, you're going to face challenges. Even in my late career as a Supreme Court judge, I faced challenges. That is only a, how do you say it? Challenges are only a dent on the road. It's not the end of the road. But we have to understand that Latinos and humans, we were born to be amazing, and you have to believe in yourself. Because the question is not, and I love quotes. Quotes give me hope. Quotes give me strength. Quotes energize me. So I'm always looking for quotes, positive quotes. And I read one not too long ago by Ryan, I don't remember the last name. This person said, the question is not who's gonna let you. The question is, who's gonna stop you? So who's gonna stop me? No one. What's gonna stop me? No one. And I speak with an accent, and a heavy one. Sometimes it becomes, softer than others, but it doesn't matter. I could compete and I could do anything anybody else does. At times, and let me tell you this, there were times in my life when I was an attorney that I was acting like a paralegal to my coworkers because I didn't feel confident enough to do the work that I stayed behind the scenes. While they were succeeding and accelerating, I was behind the scene. But one day I said, this cannot go on anymore because I know I could do this work. Yeah. And I did it. Then my career took off as a prosecutor. I prosecuted cases even that there were high profile cases. And I did, even with my whatever language. I became a public speaker. Today I am a public speaker, even with not my so perfect English. And I have done so much. I have done so much in my career that I never envisioned. I never dreamed of becoming a judge because I never saw anyone on the bench that looked like me or sounded like me. So everybody that I saw was a perfect speaker and Caucasian, and they spoke the language perfectly, and they were perfect. I wasn't considering myself perfect. So I never saw myself there. But one day, I go like, LaPorte, wait a second. You can't do that work just as well as they do, even better. You can't do the work. And that's when I decided in 2004, run for judge, and I got it. It takes just that simplicity to believe in yourself and go after what you want. And remember in the beginning I told you I came here to be a flight attendant? I'm looking to apply to some of those airlines and see what happens. Let them tell me no.
That's funny. So you had a long career in criminal justice, in the justice system, and I'm sure as a prosecutor and also as a judge, you've seen many Latinos be sentenced to jail. You've seen a lot of the worst outcomes in society. What do you think in the system is broken, and if you were in charge, how do you think we could fix it if you had a magic wand? How can we fix the justice system?
The thing is that the system is complicated, and it takes a lot of different parts to fix it because the system is not the court system only. It has different departments. It has the probation departments. It has the court officers department. It has corrections department. It have other departments that come in and give services depending on the person's need. The first thing that we need to do, that the system needs to do, that is being done right now, is to work more in collaboration with each other. Remember, the laws, the judges have to follow guidance, which is on the penal law, the sentencing law. And as long as the judges remain within that period of the sentencing laws, it's okay. Sometimes we believe that maybe in a particular case, the person is being sentenced too harsh, but there are a number of factors that has to be taken into consideration.
Well, it's hard because you don't want to be too lenient, because then you have criminals, you have bad people that are going free and hurting people, hurting honest people. But then on the other side, they say that you're too stringent and you're being too hard on the criminals. So what's the balance? I mean, the United States, we have the highest level of incarceration, but at the same time, there is a lot of crime. So how do we find that balance in the community?
Well, the thing is that it's hard to say, believe me. It's hard, but the court system is always looking to find balance and to find ways in how to be fair to the victim and also be mindful of the type of defendants that comes before us or before the court, to make sure that they get the right day in court. It is difficult because, as I said before, it's not only one aspect of it, it's different aspects. And yes, the United States is the country that incarcerates more humans than anyone in the world, and I hope that has to change. It has been changing, but slow pace, because there are a lot of people that comes through the system that do not need to be incarcerated. They need programs. They need more attention. For example, people with drug addiction, people with, how will you say, alcohol problems, people with mental problems. Yeah. All those people don't belong in jail incarcerated. But on the other hand,
they still are
they're still
a risk to society.
You have to
so
balance.
Yeah.
Exactly. You have to balance, because at the same time, I have a responsibility to keep your community safe as well. Yeah. And sometimes that's not that easy to detect. So the judges are the last straw in the system, but we are the ones that carry the most responsibility when it comes to a decision. Even though the prosecution brings the case and the defense attorney defended, but the court has the ultimate say as to how a case, what's going to happen in a particular case. Not always it has its way, but it has a lot of input into it. And there are many times that the judge cannot do anything without the feedback or the permission of the prosecution. So because that's the way the law is. But once again, and in answer to your question, most of the people that comes before, at least in Brooklyn, and I know in other boroughs, that comes through the court system are Black and Latinos, Black and brown.
Yeah.
So that's why we have to make sure that we elect people that understand why this particular person or this particular group behave this way. Because it's not only that we look at the crime that was committed. Sometimes people are arrested because they are in the wrong place at the wrong time, hanging out with the wrong people, or maybe with the wrong influence, or maybe they don't know any better, or maybe, who knows, something from their mind is not working. So we have to look at those scenarios and look for ways to resolve the problem in a way that is going to be not so...
maybe the problem happened before they even got arrested. There were all these problems and they didn't get addressed, and that's why they got into that situation.
So, and then we have to look at what happened to this person in the past, if there was a record in the past. Why is this person unremembered? None of us was there, so we only kind of like dealing with what could happen. But I also have a responsibility to the community to keep a community safe, and then they also, at the same time, I have to look for ways on how that person could receive a program or a benefit from the court system to make him not to do this or to help him not to do this crime again. Some people make it, other people don't. So we have to take it on a case-by-case basis. But I am glad that the city of New York recognized that crimes that are not so violent in nature, they don't need to be for those people to be incarcerated. That has changed, but still there is a lot that has to be done. And now with the help of the artificial intelligence, maybe we could get some answers as to how to go by it. Also, we could look at the court system history in terms of updated a lot of things, services and programs that have been put in place, and they were, functioning the same way they functioned 30, 40 years ago, and time has changed. So it's a lot of pieces that we have to put together, and it's not easy, Tony. It's not a simple solution.
I know we're running low on time. If you could give a little bit of advice to all the young Latinos who maybe they were in a situation similar to you, they're 18, they're 19, they're coming to this country for the American dream, what advice do you give to them?
Follow your path, follow your dream, and never give up. There's going to be times, Tony, that you're going to have hard times. You're going to have challenges. You're going to have financial problems. You may not have family support. You may not think that you are worth taking the chance, that you are wasting your time. You may not believe in yourself at times because you do things and you don't see any progress. But to all of you, I say, never give up. Listen, the more you do, life is about learning. It's a pattern. The more you do something, the better you learn it. And when it comes time, you will be in a place where you will be comfortable with what you're doing, and you will see the progress that you're making. In my life, at times, for years, I didn't see that I was making any progress, and I thought I was wasting my time. All of the sudden, I didn't realize the progress that was happening in myself and in my life because I was too concentrated on the negative as opposed to the positive. But invest in yourself. Take time to learn. Be patient. Face the challenge. Ignoring a challenge in your life is not going to resolve it. It's going to pile it up. Because if you don't do something that is your dream and your path, you still have to make a choice. And the choice might not be something that you'll be happy with. If you keep on doing what you're doing, trust me, I will guarantee you that you get what you want. But be patient, follow your dream, never give up, and ask questions. We don't ask questions, ask for help. I was afraid to ask for help, but now there are so many things out there that can help you. But you have to invest in yourself. Very important. Invest time and money. Get things for free. There are a lot of things for free at this point on the internet that you could use. But there are times that you need to pay for something better in order to benefit you more. So that will be my advice to them.
Well, thank you so much, Judge. I appreciate everything that you do, and thank you for being on the show, my love.
You're very welcome. Thank you.